So the Beledar mystery has been all over us since the expansion was first revealed, but now we have some crazy new information. Blizzard hinted that we are going inside the 11.1.5 update, and the Nightfall is all about the final nerubian attack on Hellfall. The old artwork is still relevant of a giant staircase that leads into the crystal itself, but a book quote from Alleria talking about how the light can imprison beings the size of mountains in something akin to crystals, combined with the new Arathi prophecy, is insane. The Arathi prophecy stated everything that essentially happened by now, and it talked about Renilash, the final battle, when the remains of gods pulsed with unseen light. Oddly enough, that fifth old god is nowhere to be found from the mural. Could he literally be in the crystal itself? Is Beladar just one giant light prison? And is the prison breaking the reason why it is turning into the void? Remember, this guy was likely the master of the void nerubians, and isn't it odd enough that they really wanna go after Beladar? What is even going on? While having the best deals on the market for all games and software, Gamivo just added mobile top-ups for your favorite mobile games with the best prices that you can get with my Gamivo link in the description below. Best of all, if you use my code DORON, your discount will be even bigger, so make sure to use my link in the description and the code and check out Gamivo. Beladar is, without a doubt, right now the biggest mystery in the War Within. Essentially, the focus of the entire expansion is on this giant crystal in the middle, and we keep getting hints and even confirmations, but nothing concrete yet, and we still don't know fully what is going on. But as time goes by, Blizzard keeps hinting harder and harder on what it could really be. I was honestly expecting we would already learn what it is in 11.1.5, and it actually does seem likely, but we have discovered some PTR information, and a part of it is revisiting of the horrific visions of the Zod, and the other is an event called Nightfall. While at first glance it doesn't seem that big of a deal, I think by the end of it a big reveal will happen. As you may know, the Beladar crystal is in Hellfall. It is what drew the Arathi in, and the entire transformation from the light to the void is a result of the nerubian attacks. It appears that this Nightfall is going to be the final battle for Beladar, where by the end we will figure it out. I want to point out two specific hints that Blizzard kinda slipped under the radar that no one is really talking about. So you can go to the official website and check out the 11.1.5 content update, but it says go inside the 11.1.5. Wording sounds a bit weird. You would expect something like overview or insight into the new content update, but then again, not really a big deal, right? Well, do you know that we have discovered actual artwork of a giant staircase to Beladar? And this is just artwork an artist presented on his own art page, sharing the thought process behind the development of the expansion, so not really something they're promoting, it is really behind the scenes artwork. This artwork seems like a giant spoiler, and I know that you may think, yeah, people are just sketching out random ideas, but literally, why would an artist randomly decide to connect a staircase to the main chapel without any sort of lore reason? I mean, usually the artists are drawing based on what the story guys tell them. Pretty sure they have some guidelines on what is expected, at least in our way. Furthermore, the staircase actually makes complete sense. Literally, check out the giant window. It literally perfectly lines up with a tiny little triangle between the two giant shapes on the crystal where the door is supposed to be. Based on everything, it seems so likely that when things get bad with Nightfall, we are going to have to go inside the crystal to release whatever is in there. However, guys, the rabbit hole goes so much deeper, because what even is Beladar? So I made multiple videos on this topic. The latest video was on the official confirmation on what Beladar is, because we got that Titan Archives questline where the keepers are talking about what it is. They say that Beladar is one of the various classifications of the world soul's essence on Azeroth, and that there are many like it. This makes sense because we also had seen the one on the Siren Isle, and it also makes sense because this was all in the context of Azeroth resisting. It is even crystallizing the Titanforge workers. However, Dagran, after that, said, what if the Titan Keeper was deceived himself to believe that this is what it was? When you think about it, this being a classification doesn't actually make too much sense. I mean, the crystal is so obviously engineered. It is geometrical, it has various types of runes on it. There are symmetries, it doesn't seem random at all. For example, you can see what mounds of Azeroth look like just random or bunched up. I think this confirmation may have ultimately been a big lie. In the previous video I talked about how it is a Naru despite the fact that the keepers are saying calcification, and that is for a few reasons. I mean, the old evidence is the name Beledar, which oddly sounds similar to Genedar, Zenedar, Exodar, which are all Naru ships. However, we have discovered an internal map of Hellfall, so this is a development map behind the scenes one, and instead of Beledar, they just wrote Naru Crystal, which means they might know something that we currently don't. Furthermore, the crystal is turning into the void, especially since Sargeras struck, which shouldn't be happening with the calcification. Why would Azeroth's essence even be light in the first place, and why would it suddenly start to turn into the void? Now, previously I was talking about how when the universe was formed, shards of light were flung across the universe, and from them life was created, so this is all still a possibility, but someone linked a really interesting quote from a book that I never personally took into consideration that makes you see this entire situation with completely different eyes. From the 1,000 Years of War with Alleria, it says, she saw the forces of the light striking back against the void. She saw darkened worlds burning in holy fire. She saw millions of creatures encased in luminous crystals the size of mountains, sustained by the light and unable to die. Keep in mind this part, unable to die. That got me wondering a few things, and I kind of feel like puzzles are starting to sort of fall into place. I mean, remember that old god mural that is likely the 5th old god that no one has explained yet, even though we're nearing the end of the expansion, that also has that void crystal next to it, which I'm almost certain is Beladar. Do you notice that the nerubians are coming from below? They're attacking this crystal. They really are after Hellfall, the zone itself. Do you remember Andrew and Bryn in this expansion saying that the Radiant song seems to be coming from the crystal itself? Seeing that the Nerubian civilization here is super ancient, it is likely from the time of the Black Empire, and it is likely that the old god really was there. Oddly enough, we are revisiting the horrific visions of N'Zoth because Blizzard told us something similar will happen soon, so we need to gather info. Whose visions are we going to see next? So the theory is obviously based on the thousands of years of war. Could it be possible that Beledar is one massive light prison for an old god, or potentially a way Azeroth had imprisoned one? Think about it, the Titans are not the only force invading and taking over the worlds. We've learned from Revendreth that, in fact, I mean, the light has a transdimensional army, they're doing the same thing, they're invading other planets. Could something happen here where they intervened and did something on Azeroth? The smaller crystals all over Azeroth could be the old god minions. Now, think about this, where even is that old god from the mural, and why are his minions going exactly after the crystal? Could it be possible that when Sargeras struck, he weakened this prison, and the reason it is transforming into the void is because the void being inside is trying to break free? The Darkheart may be trying to gather enough power in order to shatter the prison Beladar, and I feel like soon that is going to be what will happen, and after night falls, we will have to go inside a crystal because it is no longer going to hold by itself. Now, to make this even more mind-boggling, remember the song of Renilash, the Arathi prophecy, that we tried to make sense before, but it didn't really make much sense at the time without any context? It said that the Nerubians, nightmares of legs and claws, came to battle. Walls built with the living rock of the Titans bore the weight of the conflict. The remains of gods scattered across the battlefield pulsed with an unseen light. Before, this made absolutely zero sense. What were they even talking about? But do you realize that they talked about the remains of gods pulsing with an unseen light? Could they be pulsing because they are inside light prisons? So now the possibility is that these crystals are literally buried light prison cells all over Azeroth, and if this outrageous possibility is the case, when exactly did this happen? I mean, obviously the Titans lied. They told us these are just classifications of the world's soul, but could this imply that the light may have ordered Azeroth before the Titans and then the Titans came in after? Could it be possible that they might not have even been the ones to defeat the old gods by themselves, as we had previously believed? Could this have potentially been a joint invasion that the Titans kinda wanted to sweep under the rug? I know it sounds super far-fetched, but something is definitely going on here. Almost certainly something void related is within that crystal, and I feel like we're going to get inside right there soon. As they say, go inside 11.1.5 update. By the end of the Nightfall event, I think we're going to figure out what Beladar actually is, and this transformation is going to trigger the entire transition into Midnight. Somehow, I also feel like Beladar is connected to the Dark Cult, and that this is what xal'atath is really after. Thank you for watching. Check out what is going on with the Dexter campaign heroes 22 years later by clicking on the screen, and subscribe to my new raid channel by clicking on the screen as well. See you next time!